This is the Four Horsemen Podcast.
And we are back. The bye week. I had a great weekend. How did everyone's weekend go?
I'm on reading week at university, which I don't know if you guys have that, but that means I get the week off.
Syllabus week here for us.
Okay.
Well, would syllabus be the first week, or is it just in the middle of the
Syllabus is first week.
Oh wait, shit. Oh, so what? You got finals coming up?
No. So what happened was, there was a student problem of a lot of suicides on campus. So
Jesus
they decided
Christ.
to give a week off every semester just for kids to relax, where they're supposed to read and pick up and work. So I've been just kind of chilling and drinking, like most students do.
So you had a bye week.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's my own bye week, actually. It's really funny.
So you had a bye week when Notre Dame had a bye week. That's actually very well played.
Yeah. And last year, Notre Dame was on a bye week, I was on a bye week, and the Dallas Cowboys were on a bye week, so I had nothing to do for the week, and it was terrible.
That was my week with the Steelers being off also.
I went to Newport, watched my rugby team play in a quarterfinal game. They won 98-0. And this isn't a rugby podcast, but when you put up 98 points, a touchdown in rugby is called a try. It's worth 5, and the kick is worth 2. We only made 2 out of the 14 kicks for the day, but putting up 98 was ridiculous. They're now number 1 in the nation, so we'll get to that soon.
Nice. I played my last round of golf for the year.
How'd that go?
Didn't play too well. Fall golf actually kind of sucks. But whatever. At least I get to do absolutely nothing every weekend except watch football for the next 6 months.
Isn't it funny that college football sucked last week, and we just so happened not to have been playing? No? Coincidence?
I enjoyed it. I didn't watch a game. I'm probably a bad fan. I was also really drunk all weekend, so I woke up and I saw Ohio State lost, and I said, "Am I asleep?" So
Yeah. Other than golfing, I played Xbox for like 13 straight hours locked away in my room. It was fantastic.
And I got into no Twitter fights this weekend. It was a great time.
Oh, I got into big ones under Kirk Herbstreit's mentions. Oh, boy.
That I saw you were getting into the mix there.
I just said one
Just
thing.
to give us some context, Herbie tweeted something. It was something about rankings. Dill, take it away.
Yeah, so he put LSU ahead of Notre Dame. And usually I'm good for ignoring other people's comments, but there's so many people that don't realize that Notre Dame's played a good schedule. It's just comments like, "Oh, you guys played nobody." And I'm like, "You stupid fucks, we played Michigan, the 5th-ranked team right now. We beat them. It's the best win in college football." So all I did was say that, and I went to bed, and I woke up, and there was like 50 likes, 20 mentions. Like the place just went dog shit crazy. So I got into a bunch of fights with a bunch of different people, and a bunch of Notre Dame fans kind of got in on it too, because it was like, "Oh, Notre Dame's no good. You'll get slapped in the SEC." And it's like, we're not talking about that. We beat Michigan. There's no way LSU should be ahead of us. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, kind of just real quick off of that, Notre Dame fans, and I got into a fight with them over the incident that we won't talk about a couple weeks ago. They are some of the most passionate but also intelligent individuals ever. It's hard to fight them. I'm used to fighting the Youngstown, Ohio type of people. So,
I can understand why the South drags your country behind, because there's a lot of LSU and SEC.
do not have that slander here, Mr. Canada.
Hey, I'm sorry, but these guys think really slowly.
I'm on record as the South is very pleasant.
Yeah, but pleasant and smart are two different things.
Well,
Point taken.
Definitely,
There's definitely a point to be made there. Let's talk some frickin' Notre Dame fighting Irish football, boys. How about it?
yeah, Navy this week over in San Diego, 8 p.m. game, CBS. Do we know who's on the call yet? Not Flutie, so that's all that matters.
Watch it be Herb Street. I'm pretty sure Dylan will like throw his laptop out the window.
He's ABC,
I
so
usually
that's-
like Herbie too, though. He's just an asshole lately, I guess. You know.
no, whatever. I hope it's like Kirk Minahan or something.
Also, why is this game in San Diego? Like,
For
There's a huge Navy base there.
Oh, okay, right.
And it's our usual chance to flex our nuts and basically say, hey, we play wherever we want, when we want, and we're also going to play in Southern California, and we're going to tell a bunch of recruits to show up at the game. So
That too, because technically it's a home game, so they can do that. And Joe, wherever he may be, will be at the game.
alive.
He may be alive, he may not be, but the Four Horsemen is you, the listener. So be sure to subscribe, like, and rate us 5 stars.
I think
unsubscribe and then resubscribe once more.
Yes,
I think at one point we should start taking fan questions. I think that would be fun.
We will eventually. But other than that, Navy 2-3 on the year, if my stats are correct. They run the triple option, high school offense. I do like Ken Niamahaloho. Try to get that one right. It's Aloha Gilman's homecoming game against Navy. He is going to be in the backfield the whole game. He's going to tackle the quarterback. He's going to tackle the mesh. It's just going to be a wonderful game. In our interior line, if they don't come away with 15 tackles, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, have we ever beaten Navy by more than like 6 points? Like, are we going to carry them? Like we always do, right? Like this is a game we never blow them out, and for some reason we respect those academy schools when we should be putting 1,000 on them.
We did in the Brady Quinn years.
Yeah, and in Ireland.
First Brady Quinn game against Navy at Giant Stadium was 2003. But that's beside the point.
I was 6 years old then. That's how old you guys are.
Well, going off of that, Lou Holtz predicts a 51-10 win. Coach Holtz is the best follow on Twitter, besides us three, of course. And really, the game is going to be one of those games where there is that mutual respect between the teams. But I hope it's just a shellacking. We don't have to worry about the corners. They may not throw the ball at all. And we're just going to have our run defense there.
I hope so, too. I will say that the pretend Lou Holtz account might be even a little funnier because it tweets with all the lisps. So it's really funny.
The tapioca pudding mouth.
Yeah, it tweets with that, so it's like Notre Dame. Anyway, really.
Can we just talk about Pitt real quick? I know we don't want to talk about that game. It almost killed me. I was real worried after that first drive, and the 10 minutes it took off the clock nearly just ended my days. So,
don't you like how the one like the offsides on the punt that extended the drive? That's probably what kept the game close. Like if it wasn't for that, we probably could have blown them out in the first quarter because we would have got the ball back with 12 minutes.
I mean, there was a lot of things. I think the midterm week did have something to do with it. Not the cheating allegations, but just in general. And I'm worried that to kind of go into more of the real talk what we were doing, I am worried about Navy being able to do the same thing, run the ball, keep possession. But if we force a 3 and out that's longer than 4 yards, we'll be fine.
We know that they're going to control the clock. I mean, against Houston, they controlled the clock for like 42 minutes to like 17 for Houston, and Houston still won that game, I'm pretty sure, right? So, I mean, they're obviously going to run and burn the clock. I mean, I was just reading an interesting article on 24/7 Sports today. Brian Kelly was going more into depth about what makes who's our defensive ends? Why am I drawing a blank?
Kareem Okwara.
Julian Okwara. What makes him so special this year, even though he was like the 333rd ranked player being recruited out of high school and come so far? And it's because he has like Brian Kelly was saying, like his engine, his motor is just ridiculous. Like his stamina is absurd, and he's so quick. Hopefully, that's going to be contagious across the defensive line. I mean, the good news is like we obviously have the talent on the defensive side of the ball. The front four on the on the line of scrimmage, they're incredible, and then we have 3 incredibly fast and very gifted and intelligent linebackers in Bilal, Drew Tranquil, and obviously Coney, and then I think Alohi Gilman. I didn't even factor that in before, but yeah, obviously he's seen this offense run before. He's a Navy transfer, so Yeah, I mean, a couple of 3-and-outs and a couple scoring plays. They got a pretty porous defense this year, pretty uncharacteristic of them. So if ever there was a year for us to really not make it a game against Navy, to Dylan's point, and really blow them out, this would be it. But you know me, the sky is constantly falling on my end.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but when you're playing the triple offense, the key personnel for you guys is going to be the linebackers on defense, right? They're the guys that are going to stop basically the triple offense.
Yes and no. When you're playing against a triple option, or the wing T, really, that's what it's predicated off of. There's a couple key guys. It's tackling the fullback, the dive, and then tackling quarterback, running back, and then the mesh. So there's four aspects to that. The mesh is obviously between the quarterback and the dive. If they can blow up the mesh instead of just the dive, there's going to be a lot of fumbles. So it's going to be our interior line and the linebackers. Maybe some of those edge guys. And showing my football IQ right here, I don't understand why the edge position is a new position in the draft. I might be dumb, but that's where I'm at there. So really, stopping the triple option, you just have to make sure the quarterback doesn't throw the ball. There may be some room for counters as well, where the edge guy is going to have to maintain his gap integrity. But really, if they don't get blown off the ball, they'll be fine. I'm pretty sure they outweigh the whole Navy offensive line.
Right. Well, just the thing I'm thinking of is the lateral movement the linebackers are going to have to get to when they pitch it up.
They flow ball to, and then the interior guys tackle the.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is we got maybe the two and Bilal, but namely Tranquil and Coney, the two best linebackers in the country. So I feel confident. We also got the best line we've had probably in Kelly's era. So I think stylistically and personnel-wise, this is the best matchup we've ever had with Navy. Navy's probably at their weakest in recent years. And Notre Dame's tackles and your linebackers are better than they've ever been. So I think this is a really good time of blowing up that offense and stopping any kind of pitches out wide. I can just already physically see Drew Tranquil like just cutting across to stop a guy trying to catch an edge on a pitch, right? So
the body count's going to be high this weekend.
Yeah, don't forget, Jalen Elliott has already murdered 3 human beings this season.
Official count of the 4 horsemen. So really, I agree with Holtz. 51-10. I'll mark it down right now. Irish by 41, going to Northwestern with a win. And then we get into November. November is going to be a time to be alive. It's troublesome.
Yeah, we'll see, right? I mean, this time last year, to me, we kind of talked about a lot like Michigan was. Like right now, like a one-loss team that's really high, and then, we just can't really come through in November. So if we can do it this year, I'd feel really, really good about this team, and I think we can do it because, we're just better than I've ever seen us before. So, yeah.
Yeah, the only concern I have about November, obviously Florida State's incredibly talented because they they recruit 4 or 5 stars, but they're just kind of a mess of a program right now. So obviously it's going to be a challenge, but we should handle them. The challenge is going to be going from Yankee Stadium, stopping at South Bend for like a day, and then going out to Los Angeles between the 17th and the 24th. That's a lot of travel for guys. And I think Houston's going to give us a game, mainly because I'm going to be at the game with Nick. If I wasn't going to the game, we'd probably win by 112. But since I'm going, we're probably going to lose by like 8.
And we're both on the fourth story of Yankee Stadium, so that's not good either.
Yeah, section I think 408, which I think is midfield, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm up there somewhere.
Yeah, so I mean, we're excited. Obviously, we're looking forward. I think we're definitely in a really good position. Just got to take it week by week. Now, the players need to take it week by week. The fans need to take it week by week. Kirk Herbstreit, you take it week by week and don't fucking blow your load. Just everyone, let's just play college football for the next couple weeks, one day at a time. I don't know.
before
You guys
leave,
want to talk CFP real quick?
Yeah, real quick before you leave, and before Dylan, you get to watch your Red Sox, and I get to finish my fried chicken that I'm making for some wild nights. The real thing is Purdue blew up Ohio State and possibly their chances and the Big Ten's chances to get in. So right now, you see LSU Alabama. That's going to be a pivotal game. Notre Dame has to win out, but really, I know the rankings are coming out next week, so we're probably putting the cart before the horse here. Who are your four college football teams as of October 24th?
You can go first, Steve.
Okay. Now I'm nervous about excluding the Big Ten based solely on the fact that if Alabama wins out, then obviously they'll be 13-0 with this SEC championship game. Whoever they beat in the SEC championship game will have had 2 losses, right? Because it's let's face it, they're going to play Georgia. Mm-hmm. If Georgia wins that game, obviously they're in, and then I think Alabama, even though they're 12-1, they still make it in. But the odds are that they beat Georgia. Georgia finishes, what would it be, 11-2? Yeah. They'll be on the outside looking in. So based on assuming that, and I think that LSU actually has a really good chance this weekend. I'm kind of just wishing that into existence. That's not actually something I believe in. Just trying to put it out there in the universe and hope it happens. Let's say Bama wins out. We have 13-0 Bama, 12-0 Irish, 13-0 Clemson, and
at large.
I'm going to assume it's going to be the winner of the Ohio State and Michigan game. If either whoever wins that game and then goes on to win the conference title, I think they get in.
Well, we made that real complicated right there. Dylan?
Well, I put my rankings out every week because I think it's fun to do it. And
I'm at Dylan97.
Yeah, and I've been following the strict playoff committee kind of mindset of just resumes with a little bit of eye test in extreme cases. So my top 4 right now are Alabama number 1, and they're the extreme case for the eye test because come on, you can't not have them number 1. But on resume they are not. So I'm actually really interested to see. Yeah, and I'm really interested to see what the committee does next week with Alabama because they could put actually the Irish number 1 like they did with Georgia last year instead of Bama. But so I have Bama 1 though. Notre Dame number 2. Frankly, we got the best win in college football. We have 2 ranked 25 wins currently. So does Clemson, but I would argue Stanford's better than North Carolina State, and then Michigan's better than Texas A&M. And 3, Clemson. And 4, I got LSU at the moment. That's not going to stay. Obviously, one of them or Alabama are losing. I don't know because I tweeted this as well. If Michigan loses to Penn State, the Big Ten is in real deep shit because if Michigan beats Ohio State, nobody's getting into the playoff.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so that's a key game.
I'm going to throw this out there to both of you. What about Oklahoma?
Well, that's what I was getting to is if the Big Ten's out, because they probably get precedent over the Big 12 this year, especially Michigan would, with their loss only coming to us. But then you look to the Big 10 or the Big 12, and don't count out the Longhorns. They're actually the most likely team to get in because they've already beaten Oklahoma. But then I wouldn't count out Oklahoma either. So to me, the SEC is not getting 2 teams. That's for sure. It's either Michigan, Ohio State, or Texas, Oklahoma.
So I have a very quick question. Actually, no, that's a stupid question, but I'll speak it out anyway because in the Big 12, do they even have a conference title game anymore? I don't think they have 12 teams, right?
They do play a conference title game. The top 2 just play each other at the end. So Texas, Oklahoma will play each other again.
Okay. Because I know when it used to be Big 12 North, Big 12 South, obviously North with Oklahoma and Texas, and they would meet often. But it sounds like that's basically what it's going to be this year. Okay, I just wanted to confirm.
They put all the teams in one division and just the top 2.
Yeah, because they only have like 10 or 11 teams now, right? Yeah.
Now, for my 4, I'm going to make some waves here. I don't care, Phyllis from Alabama, if you like me or not.
You don't have Bama in your top 4, I swear to God.
Well, Dylan, you just spoiled everything. Well, it will have to be Bama in the top 4, but for sake of as of today, I would go with ND1 just because of the wins that they have. Bama 2, kind of like what you were saying before, but that will change after LSU beats them. Go Tiger. Clemson 3, and dark horse as of right now, I would love to see a Notre Dame Michigan rematch in the semifinal.
Well, we already beat them with our backup quarterback.
I mean, you need twice, and that would be phenomenal. And I think LSU has the horses and the Tigers to go into Alabama and beat Alabama. But until that happens, Bama's still 2. If you had those 2 rematches, you had Clemson, Alabama round 4, and then Notre Dame, Michigan round 2, that would be a phenomenal December 29th. And Dylan is shaking his head at me right now. What's up, Dylan?
No, I hate Michigan too much to even risk losing to them in the playoff.
Did you see how they played? They haven't gotten better than Notre Dame. I can tell you that.
I know we would beat them. I feel like we would. But, I mean, look, they're a good team. We could lose to them. That's a possibility.
And
I think I might have said
happens, we just never do this podcast again, and we delete it from existence.
Right. I think I said this on the very first podcast. I'm not sure, but I've played a game before with some Notre Dame friends that are, if you had the opportunity to play Michigan in the national championship game or someone else, who would you take? Because there's nothing sweeter than beating them, but there would be nothing worse than losing. And honestly, I would rather play someone else. I know it's that risk reward. I couldn't handle losing to them, and I would love winning to them, but I think I would hate losing to them more. So
Jimmy Khaki Pants can't do anything in a big game. He would never do that. So, give me Notre Dame, Michigan.
For all intents and purposes, I hope we get UCF in the national championship, and I just want to blow them out 72-0. I need one in my lifetime. I need it. I've been waiting too long. It's been too heartbreaking. I've had too many moments where I've stared at the ceiling fan with eyes too intently. I can't take it anymore. I need a national championship, or my life is going to end prematurely. This cannot persist. End rant. I gotta go.
Yep, that's
Irish, Steve. All right, real quick, recruiting note. We just picked up a preferred walk-on kicker from Cheshire, Connecticut. I don't know his name, but he will be better than Jonathan Dorr. We also have the number 1 punter, Hunter Bramblett. It's kind of sad that I know a punter's name and the fact that he's 17. And we also have Drew Pine coming in, class of 2019, 2020, one of the two. Drew Pine will be the real deal. We have Ian Book. We have Phil Jerkovic. Drew Pine. It's going to be a phenomenal time to be Irish. All I got here, Notre Dame 51, Navy 10. Dylan?
I'm going to take 38-16. I think that's actually the line, too, is 22. I don't like us to blow them out, but when I think about the game, I don't see how we don't blow them out. So I'm going to kind of pick an in-betweener where it's a little bit of a blowout. I don't know. My guess on that prediction is Navy's going to eat up a lot of clock, so we can't score too many points.
9 possessions, over under.
For each team, or like total?
No, for Notre Dame.
Under.
Tony DeMimbo, mark it down. Dylan saying under 9. I hope you got this far into the podcast. And I'll say over 9. I'm going to say Notre Dame will have 13 possessions.
I feel like you set that so low to like trick me into thinking it.
Well,
then you took something way above.
Yeah, I mean, 50-50. We have to do something to make ourselves entertained. And we really got to work with Steve on just storming out at the end of the podcast. But on that note, you go watch your Red Sox. I'm going to fry up some chicken and go to bed. And other than that, go Irish, beat Navy, but respect them in the end.
Yankees suck.